Hello everyone. In the Missive-Makers series, today I'm introducing you to this amazing collection of the letters of Vincent van Gogh. Last year in November, we were really fortunate to visit the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, and we saw some of these letters, the originals written by Vincent, preserved so lovingly and intact by the curators there. You will find so many Vincent van Goghs in these letters. We all know the amazing painter that he was, of course, but we should not forget, as you know, the translators in this book inform us that he was also a brilliant reader, and he was influenced by not only Dutch literature but by also a lot of English writers and thinkers and many more European writers and artists of the time. In one of the sections, the translators talk about how Van Gogh was inspired by the likes of Dickens, George Eliot, Flaubert and Voltaire, to just name a few. Before reading this book, I had no idea that Van Gogh never wrote to Theo when he was going through his stretches of mental illness. I find it particularly moving because he apparently wrote letters after he felt he recovered from these episodes, and the editors in the book tell us that we learn about his crises after the event through the analyses he himself was wont to give of them. So I don't know, something about that really moves me. I've bookmarked a few details from different letters from this book. Some of these details show you the Van Gogh that was a profound, intense human being, and some of the details show the fun side of him, and there are some everyday details, you know, about the kind of paper he wanted, the kind of paint he wanted to buy, and how much of it he wanted to buy, and things like that. And all these details sort of humanize him and bring him much closer to you when you read them. For example, in this letter he writes, "My dear Theo, a feeling, even a fine feeling, for the beauties of nature is not the same as a religious feeling, though I believe these two are connected." And he ends the letter by saying this to Theo: "You're eating properly, aren't you? In particular, eat as much bread as you can. Sleep well. I must go and polish my boots for tomorrow." This was a letter dated September 1875, which he wrote from Paris. And here is a letter he wrote in 1878 December, which would reach Theo for the New Year's 1879. And he starts the letter this way: "My dear Theo, it is time I wrote to you again to wish you, firstly, all the best at the start of a new year. May many good things be your lot, and may God's blessing rest on your work in the year on which we are now embarking." Not to forget that sometimes he would send his drawings to Theo, sometimes asking for his opinion, sometimes just sharing the progress of some of his works, and you know, talking about the details of the heads of the figures, of the fingers, of the kind of settings his subjects were in, and so on. Nicely curated, nicely edited in this book. In another letter he writes about wanting a little more paint. I think some of us who already know that Vincent used to sometimes feel guilty about making Theo spend on his requirements, you know, paint, paper, brushes, and everything he needed for his art. So in this letter he says, "Well, if there could be a little extra this month, that would be wonderful. If not, then not. I shall work as hard as I can. You ask about my health, but what about yours? I would imagine my remedy would be yours as well, to be out in the open, painting. I am well. I still feel like it even when I'm tired, and that is getting better rather than worse. It's also a good thing, I think, that I live as frugally as possible, but my main remedy is painting. I sincerely hope that your luck is in and that you will have even more. Please accept a handshake in my thoughts. and believe me. Ever yours, Vincent. So yeah, he does that a lot of handshakes to not only Theo but also sometimes Jo, his wife. Once you dive in, I'm sure you'll devour all these letters because it's just as human as it can be, and you can even imagine Vincent sitting at his table, putting his head down on paper and writing this, thinking of his brother who was his confidant, his savior in a lot of ways. Not to forget how amazing a person Theo was to Vincent. Maybe we talk about Theo another day. For now, this is it. We will come back with more letters written by some of our most favorite writers and artists. Thank you.